To go faster, swimmers have to get longer over time. But simply telling them to think about their stroke or swim big doesn't do a whole lot of good. Let's take a look at a strategy that forces them to learn how to swim longer when they're going fast and when they're training hard. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. Improving stroke length is a key aspect of long-term development. If swimmers can't get longer over time, they're going to struggle to improve. While you can certainly improve stroke length by trying to work on all the different components, I often find that the most effective strategy is going right to the heart of the matter. In this video, I'm going to show you one of my favorite strategies to help swimmers learn how to get bigger, how to swim longer when they're going fast. And the more swimmers can learn to do that and the more they can improve in these type of activities, the faster they're going to go. Oddly enough, using stroke rates is one of the best ways to improve stroke length. Let's check it out. Over time, length equals speed. So for swimmers to go fast, they need to be able to swim big, swim long, at high stroke rates. To do so, they have to create a lot of propulsion so that they can move as forward as possible with each stroke. And they also need to keep resistance really low so that they move as forward as possible with each stroke as well. It's very, very, very simple. However, simple is usually not easy. The challenge is that a lot of swimmers can swim long when they're not swimming fast. And there's also a lot of swimmers that are pretty good at moving their arms really fast. But few swimmers can do both. And that's why it's very difficult to go fast. So we have to find ways to help swimmers learn how to stay big when they're using fast stroke rates. The challenge with improving any skill, and in particular length at speed, is that feedback is usually infrequent and ineffective. Swimmers don't get very much feedback, and the feedback they get isn't very clear. And so if we can provide swimmers with a strategy that provides really effective feedback, it's very clear in terms of what they need to do, and they can get a lot more frequent feedback, they're going to learn faster. And so that's a key aspect of any strategy that we use. It has to provide feedback that's frequent and effective. So how do we get that done? A really great tool is having swimmers go as fast as possible at a given stroke rate. So how do you do that? Well, first thing is get a tempo trainer. It does not work very well if you do not have a tempo trainer or some sort of metronome that you can use. So I would definitely recommend that you use that. Give them a tempo trainer and then pick an appropriate stroke rate for the set. And after that, you just ask them to go fast. And whatever they do, just keep asking them to go faster, but they have to stay at the same stroke rate. Now, why does that work? So they have to go faster, but they can't move their arms faster. So the only way that they can go faster is by getting longer with each stroke while maintaining that same stroke rate. So they have to create more length, and they're trying to create more speed. So for swimmers that really struggle with the concept of length and speed and how to make that work together, rather than describing it to them, we put them in a position where they have to figure it out. And the reason it works so well is they get instant feedback. Did they hit the stroke rate? If yes, great. Now, was the speed fast? And if it was, they know whatever they did to hit those speeds by staying at that same stroke rate, that was an effective way to create length. If it's not fast, they know what they did was not good. So they get feedback each and every repetition as to whether their skills were effective or not. And they have to continue to try to find ways to go faster at the same stroke rate. And again, the only way they're going to be able to do that is to swim better. They may need to figure out what their arms are doing. They may need to figure out what their legs are doing. They may need to work on their body position or their alignment. They may need to work on their timing. You can help them through that, but the numbers don't lie. And whenever they do something really well, they're going to know it. And if they can repeat it, they know they figured out a strategy that's going to help them swim big and swim fast, and they'll know it right away. And so rather than relying on you to tell them, hey, that was good, or hey, that wasn't good, which has two problems. One, you can't do that with every swimmer for every repetition. And two, what does good or bad or any of those things mean? It's not nearly as concrete as time, stroke rate. And so by using this strategy, they're going to get way better feedback, and each swimmer is going to get way better feedback than you could ever provide them. And so it's going to accelerate learning because they're learning the actual skill that they need to do, and they're getting great feedback as to how well they're doing. Now, how do you apply this strategy? Well, you can use it in any training context. In the previous slide, I said an appropriate stroke rate. So you can use it for sprinting, racing, or endurance work, and those are all going to have different stroke rates. So sprinting, an appropriate stroke rate is probably going to be higher. Racing stroke rate, somewhere in the middle. Endurance work, a lower stroke rate is going to be appropriate. And in each case, they're trying to swim faster at the same stroke rate. That stroke rate might be really slow because it's endurance work, but if they can create more speed without moving their arms faster, their skills are better. And the same applies for any pace work and certainly sprinting as well. So it's all about giving them a stroke rate no matter what type of set it is and asking them to create more speed. In terms of what type of activities you're going to do, anything goes. You can use it with drills, so they got to learn how to execute the drills more effectively, create more length, create more speed. You can use it with resistance and any type of resistance. That's going to force swimmers to really be good with creating propulsion, or they're not going to be able to go faster or create more length. You can use it with different hand postures like closed fist or upside down paddles or pinch paddles. Anything like that is going to require them to use their arms more effectively to create more speed at a given rate. You can use training aids, so if you throw a buoy on them, that's going to change things. You can use overspeed, so put fins on them and see how fast they can go at a given stroke rate. They'll be going really fast, and you can combine these different strategies in different ways as well. This strategy is super versatile because you can use it in any context. It's not just for sprinting. You're always just asking swimmers to swim faster without moving their arms faster. And in any context, that's going to put a premium on creating length. And in order to create length, they're going to have to execute better skills. So whenever you want better skills and you want speed, this is a great strategy to use because it provides crystal clear feedback about the key skills that swimmers actually need to learn. So here's a backstroke set that's more of a race pace type set. So they're going to go 100 backstroke with a buoy, just focusing on using the arms. The second 50, they've got to take fewer strokes, get a little bit bigger. Then they're going 550s at 200 stroke rate plus 0.20 seconds per cycle. So a little bit slower than 200 stroke rate, but they're trying to go as fast as they can. And then as the set goes, we're going to drop the number of 50s, but the stroke rate's going to get faster. So the expectation is that they try to go faster each round because they have more stroke rate. So the higher the stroke rate is, the faster they should be able to swim. And as the repetition numbers go down, they're trying to go faster and faster. So within each round, within each set of 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1, they're trying to go as fast as they can at that rate. And then each round, when we give them more stroke rate to play with, they should be able to step up that speed even higher. So throughout, we're putting a premium on executing their skills really, really well, creating as much length as possible, and then learning how to create speed at a range of stroke rates. So the first 550s, that's going to be a very different stroke rate than the last 50. And if they can create speed across that entire range, that means they're really in control of their skills and they can execute their skills in a lot of different contexts. And that's really, really valuable, especially considering the skill that we're developing, which is length at speed, and how important that is for long-term progress. Next set is more of an endurance set. So they're going to go 3 100s freestyle pull with a buoy. And they're going to do that 3 times, 50 easy in between each section. They'll repeat the whole thing twice. And so for each section, they're trying to go as fast as possible. But those stroke rates are really pretty slow. So the only way they're going to be able to create a lot of speed is to hold a ton of water. And they can't use the legs to compensate. They can't really kick out to compensate. They've got to be excellent with the arms. And each section, we're going to decrease the stroke rate. We're going to make it faster. So they should be able to go faster as they get more stroke rate. And then the second round through, we're going to drop the stroke rate by 1/10 of a second for each section. So they should be able to go even faster. The goal here is to help swimmers learn how to create a lot of length with their upper body. They can't use their legs because of the buoy, and how to repeat that. So again, the fast might not be that fast because they've got the buoy, but they're trying to create as much speed as they can within those stroke rates. And so the only way they're going to be able to do that is to get as much as possible out of each stroke, hold a ton of water with their pull, and create as much length as possible. So we're developing their endurance. We're doing 18 100s. However, we're also really going to put an emphasis on their skills, specifically their ability to hold water with the upper body. So we saw this strategy used in a racing context, and now we're applying it in an endurance context. And the same concepts, the same principles can be used in any type of endurance set. So last set here is more of a sprint set. So they're going to go 3 rounds through of 3 sets of 225s. So the first 225s are breaststroke with dolphin kick, and they are fast. The second 2 are breaststroke kick, and then the last 2 are breaststroke swim. So the first 2 are more pull focused, the second 2 are kick focused, the last 2 they're going to put it all together. On the first 2, the first one's at 200 stroke rate. They're going to try to see how fast they can go at that rate, focusing on the arms, and then the second one, they're going at 100 rate. So it should be faster because they have the faster stroke rate, and they're trying to add as much speed as they can by adding that rate. And then on the kick, because the kick's by itself, they're going to be able to kick a lot faster. So we're going to go at 100 stroke rate and then 50 stroke rate for those kick repetitions. So they're kicking at their 100 stroke rate or kicking at their 50 stroke rate. And they should, again, try to create as much speed as they can. They can't move their legs faster than those rates, but they're trying to go as fast as they can at that rate. Then they're going to put it all together, 225s fast. First one's 200 stroke rate and second one is 100 stroke rate. And in each round, they only get one shot at each repetition. So by round, they're trying to see if they can go faster. And again, because they're limited by the stroke rate, the only way they can go faster is execute their skills better, create more length. The first two, they're creating that length and speed through their upper body. The second two, they're creating that length and speed through their lower body. And the last two, they're going to put it all together. So a great way, instead of just going as fast as they can, we're putting some parameters on them, we're putting some constraints on them to force them to execute skills better, but still execute those skills with a ton of speed. If you want to learn more about how to use stroke rate to help swimmers improve their skills and their fitness, check out the video below.